everyone. Welcome to Bringing the Zoo to You with Brookfield Zoo. I wanted to wish everybody a happy Groundhog's Day, but more importantly, today is actually National Hedgehog Day. And living in the shadow of the groundhog, we have Quilma here, our very own hedgehog. So she's actually hedgehogs are actually the original the original groundhogs. Before there was a Groundhog Day, there was actually a Hedgehog Day. So in Europe, these guys are found in Europe, Asia, Africa, but in Europe, that's where they celebrated Hedgehog Day. It was something that the farmers did to see when the harvest was gonna start, when they could start planning for the harvest, when spring was gonna come. So they wanted a good predictor for it. So these guys hibernate, and they would, around February 2nd, go out and see if the hedgehogs started coming out. And then if they saw their shadow, same thing that we kind of use for Groundhog's Day. So if they saw their shadow, that meant that spring was going to be 6 weeks away. And if they didn't see their shadow, that meant that they were going to be out and about because it was actually nice outside. But when those settlers came to the US, there are no hedgehogs here naturally. So they found another animal that was kind of similar to a hedgehog. In their minds, it was the groundhog. So like hedgehogs, groundhogs also hibernate as well. And besides the name, having the name hog at the end, being hibernators and being mammals, that's about where the similarities end. These guys are actually in the spiny mammal order, and groundhogs are rodents, so they're a little bit different. The closest relatives of hedgehogs are actually shrews and moles. But Quilma here specifically is an African hedgehog, so she would be found in places where it's actually nice and warm. So she wouldn't need to hibernate, so not all hedgehogs hibernate. There's about 17 species out there, but specifically the African ones don't need to do that. She's just a really good hider. So another reason why they're called hedgehogs is these guys like to hide in like hedgerows. So in Europe, they would like hide in hedgerows, and their little nose looks a little bit like a hog's. So that's where the name hedgehog came from. But before that, they were actually called urchins. So actually the animal sea urchin was kind of discovered after these original urchins. So they actually called them sea urchins from the hedgehog's original name of urchins. But these guys, something very obvious when you first look at Quilma, at hedgehogs, is their spines. So as her name's a little bit misleading because her name is Quilma, even though her spines are not true quills. The true quill is what like the porcupine has. Those quills are actually a type of spine, but not all spines are quills. So the quills will actually have like a little spongy center. They break easier. They're meant to fall off easier too, because that's the main defense of the porcupine, to fall off and be on the predator. For Quilma here, those spines are actually pretty strong and pretty embedded into her skin, so they're not really meant to fall off that easily. They are still made of hair, keratin, just like quills and spines. But as you can see here, when she gets nervous, she has a muscle that will actually lift up all her spines. And her spines are all about the same height, the same size, unlike quills, but that can be different lengths depending on where in the body they are. For Quilma, they're all about the same, uniformly about the same size. And they're so strong and they're so well embedded into her body that it is said that you can actually pick up a hedgehog just from one spine. That's how strong it is. We don't sanction that, we don't recommend it. I'm sure it's really painful. But that statement is more meant to show how strong that spine is. So the spine will, just like a hair for her, it will fall off eventually, but it usually takes about a year to a year and a half for one spine to fall off and a new one to grow. But she has another defense mechanism, is she'll actually roll into a ball. And so she has a muscle that runs along her body. It's very strong, and she kind of closes up like a ball with like a bag with a drawstring. And so her face and her legs and her belly are really closed up so that a predator cannot really get to her. And that's a really strong muscle. And she actually doesn't really exert too much energy keeping that closed like that, so she can be in that position for hours on end, and they'll actually also sleep like that too, so they're not caught off guard.
Does she have an odor?
She does have a little bit of an odor, but these guys do something cool that's called anointing. So if she finds something that she likes the smell of, or something that maybe it's like a plant that smells funny, she will actually chew it up or lick it, and then she'll create like this saliva, that foamy saliva, and she'll actually put it on her spines herself. And they think that it's because she wants to make herself smell bad, or they actually don't know exactly why she does that, but probably she just wants to like either maybe smell like her environment or smell bad or camouflage. So it's something really cool that hedgehogs can do.
Cool. How long do they live?
These guys can live for a while. Quilma's actually going to be 3 years old on March 27th, so we'll probably have a birthday party for her. But they live between, in the wild, can live about 3 to 5 years. In captivity, they can live to be 5, 8, and we've even seen them live as long as 11 years. But usually the average is about 8 years.
Oh, you can see her little tail.
Oh yeah, she has a little tail there too.
I usually can't see her tail. I'm very excited.
But yeah, these guys are have quite the appetite. They can actually eat about 1/3 of their body weight at night. They're nocturnal, so at night they would go and be by the gardens, looking for slugs, worms, even little toads, little mammals, birds. They have quite the appetite. They're omnivorous, so they'll also eat fruits and vegetables. Here at the zoo, we feed her mealworms, and we feed her like a little salad with like some insectivore pellets that have some protein.
So does she like to be covered?
She does. So in her home where she sleeps all the time, she has like a little like box that she likes to hide in. So we recommend like keeping a box or keeping like a empty like pot holder, something that is nice and dark, because she does like to sleep where it's nice and dark and safe in her mind. In the wild, they'll actually use like old rabbit burrows to kind of hide in. They don't make their own burrows like a groundhog would, but she will find like abandoned ones or live in like the hedgerows.
I don't know if our viewers can hear, she's making little noises.
Yeah, she makes a little bit of a little whistle there.
Do they make good pets?
They can make good pets. Obviously, they're not like a very cuddly pet, so you wouldn't have these guys to be able to pet or anything like that. They have great personalities. They are actually thought to like recognize faces. They can also recognize their own name. Just by hearing it often, they will know like Quilma means that we're talking about her. And they have great personalities. So besides that, they are nocturnal, so they wouldn't be up around the daytime. But they're cute little guys.
Does she have spines on her ears?
She does not have spines on her ears. So her ears and her like face and her belly don't have any of the spines. So those are parts that she would protect and bring into her body if she were like threatened or scared.
Uh-huh. So where would you find them in the wild?
So in the wild, you would find them like by shrubs, in the forest. You'd find them in Europe. They're very common. Like people will be out and about. They'll find them in their garden. Germany, England, and parts of Asia too. And then in Africa too, you would find them like by the shrubs where they would be hiding.
Does she do any, or do you guys do any training with her?
We try to get her like to target. She recognizes like a little ball with scent. Her eyesight is not very good, but she has a great sense of smell. And in the dark, she could see pretty good too. But we try to use that sense of smell to like have her go to like a scented target, or we'll have her go to like a specific location and reward her with a mealworm. But we also use scents too in her exhibit to kind of enrich, or she gets to like experience different smells, and that's actually another thing that we do for her.
So I'm sorry, I was busy looking at the cute hedgehog. You mentioned how she doesn't have good eyesight, but she's got really good sense of smell. Did you talk about her other senses, her hearing?
Her hearing is also, it's a pretty good hearing. So mostly she'll find those animals by her hearing and her sense of smell.
Okay.
Is how she finds her prey.
Sorry, I was distracted.
Yeah, no, that's okay. She is really cute. You can hear her making that noise there.
Yeah. She gets her spine stuck in the hay and I have to dig her out.
What's her favorite thing to eat?
She really likes her mealworms. I think those are some of her favorite for sure. I think she's eating one right there. She has a lot of teeth. She actually has 32 teeth. All like hedgehogs have like that dentation there.
Do hedgehogs live alone or in groups?
They live alone, but actually a group of hedgehogs is called an array. So there's a term for it, but you really would never see them in groups. You might see maybe as a pair when the male comes and looks for the female for mating during mating season, and then she would be with her pups for a few months, but then just after a few months they're on their own and they're pretty solitary.
Are her spines barbed the way that some porcupine
Yeah, they
quills
are not. They are not. No, they are not barbed because they're not. Their defense is more to like deter a predator. They're not meant to like stick in the predator, so they shouldn't fall off that easily. For porcupines, they're barbed because that's their main defense is to stick on the predator, so the predator leaves. So for these guys, they're meant to just kind of stay on her, and they also think that another reason for her spines are to catch. If she falls, it'll kind of like soften her fall. These guys can climb trees if they're like nervous and they're trying to run away from a predator. They'll climb up a tree and they will then purposely fall. So then they will tuck and roll, and then that way they will land safely, and that spine actually cushions like their fall. So that's another idea of why they have those spines like that.
Does she make other noises besides the whistling and the kind of like sniffing noises we heard?
I think that, no, those are about it. Those are her two main noises.
Does she have really sharp nails?
She does have long nails, and she will use them up. We have like rocks in her exhibit so that she can kind of like herself wear them down. In the wild, she would be looking for food just like that, like looking through rocks and leaves. And so just having the long nails will help her like just move along easier. But you know, just like people, they will wear down and then regrow.
Are her teeth constantly growing?
No, her teeth are not constantly growing. So if she were to lose one, you know, she would just have one less tooth. But she usually goes for nice soft food, so her teeth are pretty healthy.
Oh, good.
I think she's chewing on a bone too. You can kind of hear her.
I actually rubbed those in some mealworm food, so they smell really good to her.
Mealworm food. Yum. That's what my lunch is.
Yeah.
Mealworm food. Right.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today and meeting Quilma. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And also, I don't think Quilma exactly is in Share the Care, but if you guys want to help the zoo out, you can check out our website. There's lots of her friends that are part of it. And I also believe that there's a cockroach naming contest or purchase that you can do right now. So for Valentine's Day, you can name a cockroach after one of your favorite friends. Thank you guys so much, and enjoy the rest of your day.